in Georgetown, Kentucky. Thank you for joining me today for this fun tween monster painting and drawing class. I hope you are ready to make some fun googly-eyed monsters. I've got my little green slime monster back here and my red monster up front, and I have a partially finished blue monster. So you can see half of it is finished and half of it is unfinished, so you can see the process. So today we're going to be making monsters, and you're going to need a few supplies. So here they are, and if you need to pause the video to get stuff, you can do that. First, you'll need some white paper, all right? And of course, a couple of trusty pencils with erasers in case you make a mistake. We have some great big googly eyes on here, and I made them using the caps from jars. So if you have any kind of caps around your house from milk jugs, or maybe some small yogurt containers that are round, or even the bottoms of some of your fun cups might be the perfect size for a monster eye. All right, so get those handy. Now I am using, as you can see, a square piece of paper. Now I started out with a rectangular piece of paper, and I just cut it down because the square shape makes the monster very centered and so much cuter. The other thing you're going to need is a Sharpie for your outline. And if you want to paint, you can paint and get your paints out. Or in this one, I used plain old colored pencils. Now I have colored pencils that have a little paintbrush on the side, which means when I add water, I can turn my colored pencils into paint. It'll be like a watercolor. So I can use a little bit of water on it later if I want to, but I don't have to. And of course, if you're into crayons, and sometimes they are the best, grab some crayons and you can do lots of great highlighting with your crayons as well. As long as you have a pencil and paper to start, that's the best. If you want your paper square, and I suggest you do, I've got this piece of paper and I'm just cutting it into a 9 by 9. So I'm going to measure out 9 inches and make some marks on here so I know where to cut. And I'm going to just take my piece of paper and cut down those pencil lines so that I have a square piece of paper. And it's also good, you can use your scraps to test out your color combinations or your paints as well, so you can save those scraps. So here is my piece of paper. And now the one that I'm going to show you today is this guy here. And as you can see, this one has his mouth going up, a little squiggle. This one has almost a smiley face mouth, but instead of having the teeth go down, the teeth go up, like he has a monster underbite, like some bulldogs have, right? And this monster doesn't have a nose, and this monster does have a nose, and this monster has spiky spike hair or spikes on him, and this one doesn't. So you can make your monster any way you like. And let me pull up this monster here, and I'll show you this one. This monster I did, instead of on the square, I did him on the diagonal in the diamond. He's like a little slug monster. He's got this curled around tail, and he's got polka dots on his body, and just the one big round eye, and he's got some antenna, and his eye is actually glowing. You see, I have a glow on his eye. And he's got little itty bitty marshmallow teeth. My daughter was eating marshmallows, little tiny ones, the other day, and she had them stuck in her teeth to be silly. And I said, those are perfect monster teeth. So there are my marshmallow monster teeth. So take a moment and decide which monster you would like to do. They all have similar characteristics. I'm going to put these on display so you can see them while we're doing it. But like I said, I am going to concentrate on, let me put this one over here. How about that? Move this one over. I am going to concentrate on teaching you how to draw the red monster today. And I'll put this one right here in my colored pencil so you can see him. All right, so first things first, get your paper and grab your pencil. Make sure you have a good workspace to work on. All right, grab your pencil, and the first thing you're gonna do when you choose what monster you're gonna make is put in the eyes first. So now with this guy, my eyes are 2 different sizes. So I'm gonna put my paper down and I am gonna grab 1 giant circle for my 1 giant eye and 1 smaller circle for my smaller eye. Now I think maybe, let me see, that one's about the same size. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna do these 2. Those are my 2 eye sizes, okay? So I'm gonna put those down and I am going to trace them. Now they don't have to be this close together, but I think when monster eyes, when they're big and googly and they're close together, they look kind of funny, don't they? Actually, maybe I will use the giant eye. The giant eye looks kind of fun, doesn't it? All right, so I'm gonna make my circles around my eyes. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. There we go. Circles are in. Got it? Now, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna connect the circles almost like the bridge of a pair of glasses, right? Just like that. And then you're going to, with your hand on the paper, follow that line. Don't draw on the circle eye, but just kind of make an arch and see where that shape comes out on the other side. So you can see I just kind of held my pencil here and went, and I'm gonna do it on this side as well. You can take your pencil and just go, and just draw the other side of your monster head. All right, oh, I made it a little crooked, so that's why we use pencil, thank goodness. We can just fix that like that, and we're good to go. So now we've got 2 eyes and the 2 sides. So now you have to decide about the mouth. Do you want to have the mouth with the teeth going down, or do you want to have the mouth with the teeth going up? What do you think? Have you decided? I think I'm going to do mine with the teeth going down again, but I'm going to do mine in a different color this time. Ready? So I'm going to make my squiggly mouth line, and then I'm going to draw triangles from that line underneath. But I'm going to do big and little teeth. And some will be connected and some won't. There you go. I've got my teeth in. All right, next we're gonna do the around the eyes and the eyeball. Ready? So you can see in this image, there is some white going around my whole creature to separate the creature from the black background and his pink body. And the way I did that was simply by drawing an outline around everything without touching it, and it just reminds me to leave that white space there so that when I'm coloring, I don't color all the way to the body with the black. So do you see how I drew the outline around the whole monster without touching any of the parts? I just drew a little line, all right? So now this part is the black background and this is the crazy body, right? All right, next, eyeballs. You can decide if you want them to be googly looking, kind of like Cookie Monster, where they're going in different directions, or maybe you want them to be looking straight ahead like they're mesmerizing you. All right, have you decided how you want your eyes? Let's draw in 3 circles. Are you ready? You can do 2 circles or 3 circles. I like 3 circles because you can get more colors in. So here's my first one. And you don't want it too big. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So there are my circles. You can see I have 3 circles in each. The inside one is going to be the black pupil. And so if you make a little circle inside there, that will be the white highlight in their eye. Got it? All right. Now you have your monster. Now you can decide, does my monster need to have some dots on it, like maybe it's got a pattern on its skin and it needs some dots. What do you think? Do you think your monster should have some dots? I think my monster is going to have some dots on it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in little groups of different size dots, just here and there. Try to do groups of 2 and 3 different sizes so that you know that it's supposed to be decoration. So here are my dots. Now the theme in these 3 monster drawings that I've done for you is I've put a little heart because they're my little love monsters. So maybe you have love monsters too. Do you want to add a little heart over their head in one of the corners? I'm thinking maybe I'll put the heart over here on the right hand side. Okay. Once you are satisfied with your drawing, go and get your Sharpie and let's get outlining. Are you ready? Miss Rosie's going to Sharpie hers while you Sharpie yours. Don't forget to be careful. Now I've got a fine point Sharpie. You can use a fine point black pen or a fine pointed black crayon if you're going to use crayons. I like the Sharpie because it's nice and clean and thick and it shows up good on camera for you all, but you use what you have at home, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the eye. And I'll show you what the eye will look like once I've Sharpied it. I'll try and go quickly so that you're not watching me do this forever. So here is the eye Sharpied versus the eye without any black lines. And you can see how it really stands out. So now while you're doing your outlining, you need to start thinking about your colors. What colors are you going to choose for your monster? Is it going to be purple and orange, pink and red, green and yellow, blue and yellow? So many different choices, right? It could be striped, it could be polka dotted. But once you get your eyes and your teeth in, you can get so many different ideas to color it. So I'm going to very quickly do my mouth. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you mess up your lines, you know what you can do. Just even it out, trace over it, make it a little bit thicker to make those lines look more neat. And that's why we use pencil first, so we have a good guideline. And those of you who are just starting out drawing, it's always good to start drawing lightly with your pencil. There's no need to push so hard into the paper that you're leaving dents. You're just doing little sketches, a little bit of lines here, a little bit of lines there. I'm going to go ahead and go around my dots as well, so when I color in his body, I don't forget to do his dots in a different color. And you can also add antenna to your monster, or hair, or whatever else you think might be useful to make your drawing more expressive. You do you, right? This is your monster. And once you get one basic shape down, then you can start experimenting with odd shapes like this, or adding in a tail on the edge. So just remember, you just have to get that idea down, and then once the idea is there, you will be all set for future projects on the same theme because you have the basics down. And your circles are never going to be perfect. Don't worry about it if your eyeballs are a little off, because nobody's eyeballs are perfectly round. Miss Rosie's allergies have kicked in today. Let me get this one more outline done. I'm almost done. And the heart and the eye. All right, I'm all done outlining. There you are. Now I didn't outline that shadow line around to leave the white space because I don't need it to be very bright. I just need it to be there in pencil. All right, next you're gonna decide on your colors. So because colored pencil takes a long time to do, I am going to use crayon for this one, and you can of course use your paints as well, but for speed we're going to do a little coloring in here in crayon. And this monster is going to be blue violet. So the first thing I'm going to do is start on the body, and I'm going to start the darkest crayon pressing towards the black outlines. So that'll be the darkest part of the coloring. And also underneath the eyes. Dark under the eyes as well. That's where the shadow is. And he's got big bulgy monster eyes, so that's going to be the darkest part of his body. It's going to be around his outlines where he curves, okay? Then I'm going to just gently, lightly color in the body, around the mouth. Don't forget, don't get your teeth colored. You don't want to get your teeth dirty. You want to keep them nice and white so they stand out against your background, okay? So like I said, I'm doing this in crayon today because it's faster for me to demonstrate what I need to show you. If I have crayon, I can work fairly quickly and neatly to show you how color makes the difference. All right, so I've got my first layers of color on. He's starting to turn into a monster, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shade out from the eye a little bit darker. Okay. And then once we finish the entire body with the purple, I'm going to go in and make all of the areas next to our black outlines a little bit darker so that it shows up when we're finished coloring. All right, so I'm going to do half this monster, just like I did half of this monster here, to show you how I've done this. And you can see he's got darker here and he's lighter down in the middle of the body, and his eye is a big green eye on this guy. And over here you can see the darker around the eyes as well. So here, let me get this colored in a little bit better. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay, because nothing has to be perfect in life, just has to be cool. And then if you want to outline your mouth a little bit darker, like where his lip would be, that kind of gives it a little definition. And you can see him just going in quickly. All right, so you can see the color starting to take shape now. A great color to go with purple is orange, so I'm thinking my dots are going to be orange. So let's get those in. Get those colored. And once you get a couple of colors on, you'll start to see your monster take shape and he'll look super cool. Or she, if it's a she monster. All right, so there's my orange dots. And now I think, oh, I've got a little extra pencil in my heart here. I wasn't quite either. I think I'm going to make my heart, I have some red colored pencil here. I'm going to just go ahead and color my heart red so that that stands out in my background. Are you following along? And then of course, the background around the eyes is going to be black. I don't have a black crayon handy. I'm going to grab my black colored pencil to show you how I did this. You ready? Here's my black colored pencil. And all I'm doing is, if you have crayons or paint or markers or whatever you're using, just go along that line really lightly. just so you get that little shadow of white around your monster. And then you can start coloring in your background, and you will see that he just pops right off the page. So here is the beginning of the shadows around your monster, right? And you can see how that really pops the white eyeball off the page. Now I'm going to go in and give him a little orange and purple around the old eyeballs here and make him stand out even more. Let's get that orange in. And the purple. You gotta have purple eyes. We are a purple monster, right? And here we go. All right. Now, let me do some more purple on this part of the body here. And up to the teeth. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. The first round, you're going to just put in a light layer of color, and then you can go back and darken up the areas that you want to darken. So here is the start of my purple love monster. I think he's going to fall in love with my pink and red love monster. And like I said, you can go back in and make your edges a little darker where you want them to be darker, and make your color a little darker. If you want your monster to be a darker color, you can go ahead, go over what you've already done, make them a little more bright. Get this dark edge in here. And there we go. Now I'm getting a little better color on here. All right, what do you think? Pretty good? I'm gonna do a little bit more black around the eyes to show you how that really pops your eyes out. Let me go and do that real quick here so you can see it in a semi-finished format. Like I said, I'm doing really quick and dirty coloring here. It's not the best, but you can see how it really helps pop your creature off the page when you have a little darkness followed with a little lightness, and then more darkness around the body and the eyes. Here, and we're almost done with our monster. There we go. So there is your drawing of your love monster. So I hope you liked today's drawing tutorial, and don't forget you have lots of options of monsters and teeth that you can do. And like I said, this monster here was started out as just the line drawing as well, as you can see, just as this one did. And the more color you put on it and the darker the black background is, the more he will pop right off the page. I hope you enjoyed today's monster tutorial. If you have some great monsters, I would love for you to email them to me at Roseann, ROSEANN @scottpubliv.org. And I think you guys are going to have some great ones. I hope that I get some, and I will try and get them on Facebook so that everyone can see your awesome googly-eyed monsters. Thanks for joining me today for this and lots of other great virtual and in-person program. Make sure you check out our calendar at scottpubliv.org. That is our website. Story times, of course, for littles are all virtual, but we do have some adult programs that are limited space in person for social distancing. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you at the library. Take care, everybody.